Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. This is Smart Business Moves, and we've got the $1 million panel that's going to be speaking at the ISSA slash ARCSI convention here coming up October 10th through 13th. Our panel consists of, and our guests today are Laura Smith, RJ Patel, Vanessa Bossart, Susan Stocker, and Jeannie Henderson. Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Hey there, everybody.
Good.
This is a full house for Smart Business Moves. So this is going to be a jam-packed hour, and I guess let's just go around the horn here, and if everybody could just take like a minute or two and introduce themselves, the name of their company, where they're located, and anything else about their business they'd like to share. Laura, why don't you go first?
Okay, well, I'm Laura Smith. I own All Star Cleaning Services in Fort Collins, Colorado. We are currently at about a 3.4 run rate. And I have been largely absentee from my business for the last few years since my daughter got sick. She's better now. But I still mostly run my business remotely. So.
And just to make sure we're clear, when you say 3.4 run rate, what you're talking about is $3.4 million a year run rate.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's pretty rare air. Congratulations. That is inspirational.
Thank
I
you.
need to start working harder. RJ, how about you?
Yes, thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone. I'm in the northwest quadrant of Atlanta, Georgia, town called Kennesaw, where the guns are legal. Come visit me. And we are inching close to our 20th year in business this January, and we will be right at 2 million this year. Chasing Laura.
Awesome. And are the guns a contributing factor to that, or just interesting? When you say the guns are legal, there aren't guns legal in most places. Is there anything unique about Kennesaw?
Back in 1982, 3 years after I moved here, they actually passed a law that all homeowners must own a gun. That's why.
So it's not only legal, it's expected, it's required?
It's required. So we have signs that they say, never mind the dog, beware of owner.
It's pretty awesome.
Very good. Susan, how about you?
Hi, I'm Susan Stocker, and I am the owner of Susan's Green Cleaning here in Seattle. We started 7.5 years ago. We're at a 2.5 million run rate right now.
Awesome. That's great. Vanessa?
I'm Vanessa Bossart, and I own Sparkling Cleaning Agency for 17 years. During pandemic, we changed and opened other companies, Sparkling Clean Pro, and Green Living Cleaning Supplies. We got a little down after pandemic. Before we are a little above 3 million. Now we are about 2.5, 2.6.
Okay. It's still awesome size business. Yeah. Wow. I need to do the math.
And I'm sorry, I'm in San Francisco. I forgot to say.
Yes. Okay. I need to do a total of the annual revenue for this entire group. Might have to get a calculator out here. Hey, how are you today?
Hi, I'm Jeannie Henderson, and I'm honored to be here with this group tonight. I'm going to learn some things, and I am the owner of Jeannie Cleaning in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we have been in business for 7 years. And my business is at a $1.3 million run rate, but I am chasing all of you and hope to learn a lot from this group.
Sweet. So we're going to all be in Chicago here in maybe just a little over a month. Is that correct?
That's right. October 10th through the 13th.
What's going to be going on in Chicago then?
Yeah, so October 10th through the 13th, ISSA Show North America, and this panel will be reassembling in person that Monday for $1 million panel where people can come in and ask questions live to this group, meet these amazing business owners in person, and I will have the honor of facilitating that conversation. So really want to encourage people, if you have not checked out the ISSA show, to be sure and do that at ISSA.com. And actually, we are going to post a link here in the comments because you can take advantage of early bird pricing, even though that has passed. We have a special link that we are sharing with people who are watching Smart Business Moves today, who can take advantage of our early bird pricing at only $179 to register. So don't miss that. And be sure to check out the All Access Pass so that you can participate in the education that will be happening there. A lot of that, you'll get to meet amazing people like these rock stars in person. And also you'll want to attend our $1 million panel.
I just dropped the link to the registration page, and we have a special code that I'm going to drop that is good for, I guess, a significant discount. It says 179 ARCSI early.
Right. Yes, that is the, I can't remember what price you're registering at now, but it's significantly more than that. And the price will continue to go up as the show approaches. So don't miss out. Join us in Chicago. It's going to be a great show.
I love Chicago. Chicago is fun. So the show, if I go down the page here, there's a lot of stuff going on. Got Liz Trotter speaking, Matt Ricketts, Derek. Not familiar with Derek. I guess anybody know Derek?
Yeah.
We do know Derek. Anybody?
It's not Derek Christian, is it?
No, this is. I'm afraid to tackle the last name.
Oh, I can't see it. Let's see.
I'm not sharing. Oh, it's up here. I'm sharing my screen, aren't I not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't know that, Derek. I thought you were talking about Derek Christian.
No. I can say Derek Christian. Anyway, I'm sure the Lunch and Learn is a very large group, so I'm sure this is a professional speaker that has a lot of game. Aja, one of our favorite people, is going to be speaking. And the $1 million panel, panel is going to be on Monday, the first day in the afternoon. Let's see, what do we got here? Bill Rennick, not sure if I know him. He's like one of the big speakers in the big group, I presume.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, this is a spot. Like one thing that they have done differently this year, they usually had different learning tracks, but this year all of the education is, it's open to anyone. Just encouraging people to check out as many speakers, anything that they think will apply to their business. So everything is combined this year.
Okay, that sounds exciting. Certainly expands our opportunities there. We've got Debbie. Everybody knows Debbie. She always brings it. Hey, Jeannie, you're going to be speaking?
I'm speaking. Yes, exactly.
Recession proof. That's timely. Laura's got a standalone session here. Problem solving. I know that's going to be awesome. Sean Day is always fun. Tom Stewart. Okay, well, we'll throw that in there. Debbie's got a half-day workshop here. That's going to be great. Mm-hmm. Royce and Tammy Ard. Royce is rocks. Matt's going to be speaking. I can't wait. This is going to be good.
Good. You guys aren't doing the game show again, though, are you? That was fun.
We don't know. It might not be on the schedule, but as an audible, we can always break it out. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, that was great.
So Jeannie, you're going to be moderating the $1 million panel. Could you share with our audience the format of that and how that's going to work?
Yeah, so we'll be coming together. We have just over an hour probably together. It's at the end of the day on Monday, which is nice. So we'll be coming together. We'll have our panel. We're going to have a couple of questions that we know are relevant for what's happening in our marketplace right now. that we'll be asking our panelists, but we'll also open up the floor to open Q&A to take some questions from the audience as well. Plus, our panelists are all going to be around afterwards. And after that, we are going to have our ARCSI roundtables, so that the $1 million panel can flow right into the roundtable event, and people can stick around for drinks and appetizers and get to meet these amazing people in person and interact with them and ask more questions.
That is great. That is awesome. So I guess strategically, that's one of the reasons it's kind of at the end of the day, so we can go all night if we want to.
That's right. Yeah. Right. You know, once those cleaning people start talking, they just can't stop.
I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but we've seen it happen before.
Yeah. No, it can happen. But the great thing is it's right there at the McCormick Place, so people won't have to go someplace else to attend. And we just want to encourage as many people to come as possible. There are a lot of people in a lot of residential cleaning business owners in ARCSI, and there may even be some non-members there as well. We encourage that. And I always say to people, if you're getting into the cleaning business, or if you're new to the cleaning business, get to know people who have walked the path before you. And every single person on this call today and who are on this panel have been through the fire and learned great strategies, put systems into their business so that they're able to do things like Laura, run their business remotely and have an amazing, successful business. Or like you have, Tom, go off and start other businesses while your business is still successfully running. So we really encourage people, if you're new or you want to continue to grow your business, this is the room to be in to learn from people who have done it.
Yeah. If you've never been to convention, it is, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your business to experience that. And this is a good year. It's a good lineup. It's early enough in the year to really enjoy Chicago. October in Chicago is an awesome experience. You want to maybe give us an example of how the $1 million panel is going to run? I understand you have a trial question or two.
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions to ask everybody tonight, and you can just jump in, or I can voluntold you. So we'll just see how that goes. We talked about a couple of good questions that we think are really on the top of people's minds right now. So if you want to jump in, I'm going to go through the first question, and whoever wants to jump in first, just jump in or raise your hand. Let's go. All right. So $1 million panel, how important is training to the success of your business and to employee retention? And I know all of you have some great strategies behind that. So who would like to jump on that one first?
I'll go.
Okay, RJ.
The reason I said I would go is I actually today, after many, many years, I had promised my staff that I would go out and personally train them. So I went out there, and afterwards, our 4 trainers that we recently selected, one of them, we've broken it down into different categories of cleaning, kitchens, bathrooms, dusting, and floors. And I was working with dusting, and it's amazing. She said she was just like, I haven't been taught this. And we had some turnover. So I had to step in a little bit and readjust what we do. And I'm just shocked at, the feedback that I received from them. It is the most critical thing. Think about it. What do we sell? We sell a peace of mind. We sell mom and dad being able to enjoy their time with their children over the weekend. But if we cannot do that successfully, and it starts with processes and training, then I don't know why we're in business.
Well, and you went out there and dealt with the drift. We train people, but then they drift, right?
Yep.
And
it's a continual
train
process.
The trainer, but then the trainer drifts. Right?
Yes.
I can go next.
Okay, Vanessa.
So I can keep going what did he say.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, like 17 years, training is extremely important because it's how you set up your employee for success. I think everyone likes to know what's going on, like what's to expect, what's gonna happen, and it's very important to have a structured training in place. But more, in my opinion, more important than the just beginning of training, we rush the person to the field because we want to be profitable, is the ongoing training. So we have been talking about a lot in the company about the ongoing training. So we created what we call the cleaner's journey. So what's the journey in our company? Because we realize one thing, like when you are in the field with that part of training, work with complaints, training, all this, feels like you're repeating yourself all the time, the same thing, and exhausted for the trainer. But the reality is, when the cleaners start in your company, there is a journey. They get to learn your company first. And then if you put its data in place, you're going to see most of the cleaners make the same mistake. So what we did, we created a track on Traino. So our training program going like 2 weeks with a trainer, then they start a little bit on their own, but they need to take tracks. So on the tracks, we created all the content, all the communication with the problems we know they're gonna happen. And it can be little things, like we realize one problem always happens here in San Francisco and high risers or homes. It's they have a hard time, let's say, to use the intercom. It's a simple thing that creates stress when someone just starts to work in the company. And so we make videos. We try to educate them through this journey. So we say we hold their hand for the first 2 months, and then they keep going on this journey. So
well, and that's that period where that's where you have the highest drop off, that first 60 to 90 days of new employee. So you really want to pour into them. So it really helps with your retention too, I'm sure, when you're helping them be secure in their workplace and they feel like they know what they're doing and they're doing it well. Everybody wants to do a good job.
Yeah.
I hope so, right?
I totally agree with you. So yeah, that's we see the rotation. I think everyone want to be heard, listen. Right. So we do meetings. So the 2 first months for us is the crucial time.
Yeah,
we hold their hands.
Well, I think that's a really great point for people who are listening to understand that once you hire someone, it's a journey. Training doesn't end the day they start. It's something that goes on for the entire time that they're with you. Training shouldn't end. So yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Who else wants to share?
Yeah, I'll share.
Okay,
for us, I think training was super crucial. I think because we're known for our quality, and especially like when you're faced with an economic downturn or COVID or something else, you want to make sure that you have something that is really valuable to your customers. If you don't have quality, I suppose you could get by with just how much your customers love the technician or whatever. They think they're buddies. But at the end of the day, quality will save you. And it will also allow you to charge a higher price as well. And that's what we did. So we honed in on our training. We started doing something. So we do a 120-hour training program. We actually check in with them, every day for the first month. We either do that at the end of the day if they're getting off early, or we get them first thing in the morning. Make sure that they're doing really well. We do the same thing as Vanessa. We do the trainuals. That's really nice, so they can have that, all the time and just look at all their training online. They can retake it if they want. Another thing that has kept us really accountable, I don't know who else uses it, but we use Martha Woodward's Quality Driven, the QDS surveys. And those, when we first started doing it, we were probably, if you don't know what this is, it's where you can send a feedback to your customer after every cleaning and they can rate you 1 to 5 stars. Obviously, you want 5 stars. And when we first started doing that, we actually were seeing 3s, which surprised me. So then we started doing an extra bonus if you get 5s and 4s. And that also, just that motivating factor from QDS bumped up our quality like crazy. And it's especially nice because you can check a little box that allows all the technicians in your company to see all the scores. So you could have a score, from Mrs. Smith or whatever, or since we're not sexist, Mr. Smith, and just say that he gives one technician a 5, the next one gets a 4. That will really motivate that person who gets the 4. Like, why did I get a 4? And I've seen it myself. Like a technician will say, I'm going to get that 5, just like Tate did, or whatever. And so that is a big game changer as well. But I think once you get your training down and your quality, then that you absolutely have to have that. Yeah.
Well, and I loved what you talked about, charging enough, because that allows you then to pay your team. That helps with that retention piece, right? That job satisfaction. And I also really love the transparency that you did inside of quality driven software, allowing everyone to see all the scores. I think a lot of people would be apprehensive about that, but that's a bold move that really paid off. So
You really did.
Thank you. How about you, Laura?
So I think training is super vital to success, but the thing that I like that was brought up was the I can't remember the term you used, but just like the way that people kind of slide, like they start out good and then they kind of slide off. The drift, yes. So one of the ways that we've really addressed that is because that's when we tend to lose people too, especially people who start strong. If they start to not really feel like they're the golden child anymore, then they start looking around. So 2 things that we've done is, one, we choose our trainers. Obviously, they have to have good quality. They have to work. But we choose them more on their, like how much they like their job, how much enthusiasm they have for the work and the company and things like that, because they're really the ones who are teaching people how they behave and how they're supposed to feel about all of this. So we really have our trainers for that. And then the other thing was, for the longest time, I wanted as few trainers as possible because I wanted everybody to be really, predictable. Everybody cleans the same way, things like that. But what we learned was that people get burnout on training. And so we may hire them for their enthusiasm, but they get it less and less and less as they're getting overloaded with trainees. So I actually have 10 trainers now, and they meet once a month, and they have their own private Slack channel that they can discuss things in, and it goes so much better for us now because they get breaks, they don't get overwhelmed, and they really push each other to continue to be the best they can be. They bring up new ideas to each other and things like that. And then the other thing that we've done that has really helped from a training aspect is, a lot of people kind of go through training and then kind of get kicked out on their own, and that's that. We kind of reimagined our QA role as being the team coach instead of quality assurance. So she's not going out there checking you. She's going out there to give you a different training. And our people love that. Back when we had a QA, people were like, they didn't love it when people showed up to check them. But now every time our field person goes out there, they're teaching them new tricks and they're giving them extra training, and they get really excited about it because they feel like they learned something new and exciting. So it keeps people engaged, and that's helped our retention a lot as well.
Wow, there's a lot in there, Laura. That's amazing. I love the training team and the training coach, basically. I think people need ongoing mentoring, and in the cleaning business, I think we've all experienced this, our employees feel disconnected. They're out there, especially if they're solo cleaning, or even if they're on a team, they're only seeing that person. You may have a team of 25 or 30, but they don't get to know them. So that helps them have someone that they're connected with, and connection is so important to retention too. Well, Tom, I would love to hear what you have to say about training and retention.
Sure.
Since we won't have you on the panel there in ISSA, I'm going to take advantage of it now.
Okay. We were talking about the ARCSI convention, ISSA. I've been going to that convention for over 20 years. I was going to the ISSA before ARCSI was even ARCSI.
Mm-hmm.
Met some really awesome people there. One person I met a long time ago, a gentleman by the name of Jim Harris. Some of you might know Jim. He invented team cleaning, the idea of putting 4 people together in a team and One of them wears a backpack vacuum. Protein wouldn't be protein if it wasn't for Jim figuring out what to do with that. He was also one of the two founders of the Maids, the franchise brand that many of you are familiar with. And the Maids obviously have a 4-person team format. And a long time ago, and I'm bringing Jim up because he passed away a couple of weeks ago. So he was really an awesome guy and did a ton for the cleaning industry in general, both residential and commercial. But he's told me that, Tom, in this industry, in the cleaning industry, everybody talks about training, but nobody does it. And it's like, what do you mean nobody does it? Everybody trains. And he kind of really got into it. And it's like, don't you think that a lot of companies worry about spending more on training than what they should? And it was like, yeah. And he goes, why they spend more on training than they should? It's because they aren't spending it in the right way. They're throwing a little bit of money at a whole lot of people because the turnover is high and they're having to just train a ton of people and they're just doing a halfway job of it. And he helped me understand a long time ago that training is really critical in order to scale a business and make a profitable business. And the way you do it is you do it really well. And if you do it well, people look at their job as something more than just a task. It's a profession, and it's something more important. That if Liz were here, she'd be telling us about matter, meaning measure, that I matter as an individual. The work that I do has meaning, and there's some metric that tells me that I'm doing something important and well. And the whole point is, if you train and if you do it with a system, if you do it well, if you use some of the techniques that Laura and some of other you have spoken to, you're able to build a workforce that's stable, that isn't turning nearly as high as what you see across the industry as a whole. And that's how you grow to be $1 million to $3 million revenue a year. So, there's other parts to it in addition to the training, but you're not going to scale a business in the cleaning industry without an awesome training program.
Yeah. Wow, that was powerful share. I'm so glad that you shared that. And in Jim's honor, he's still helping people today, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to hear that and it's going to change. They're going to have a mind shift on what training is all about just from that few minutes that you were speaking there. So thank you so much. That was great. And that really leads into our next question, because you were talking about stability. And that's one thing that people are really concerned about. No matter what you believe about what's happening in the economy, it's changing, correct? It's changing. And many people believe that we're in a recession. We're definitely in an economic downturn and an inflationary period. So our next question is, what is one thing that you are doing now to ensure your company thrives during an economic downturn? Now, I know there are probably there's more than one thing, but we don't have time to go over more than one. So pick one and share that today, something that you're doing to prepare or just to thrive as we go forward. Who'd like to go first?
I can go first.
All right, Vanessa.
Okay. So one thing we did, we review our finance and divide the budget, and we make sure that every job is profitable. So we review all the rates. We unfortunately we lose some clients, so we clean up a little bit the house to make sure we are profitable, and make sure we keep on this budget, so we can keep growing during a recession, but profitable.
Well, don't you think that that's something that holds a lot of people back, because they're doing unprofitable cleaning because they feel bad. They don't want to cut that client, but it's just hurting their business. It's hurting their team. So this is the time to prune your list and have.
And another thing Susan said is, because I remember I grew this company through 2007, 2008, 2009. That's when we are going really, really fast.
We've been through a recession. Yeah.
And one thing is, people that has money, they always have money. Like we are in San Francisco, so it's a very particular market. But if you have money to pay house cleaning, you're gonna have money. So we increase a lot the quality of the service. So we make sure you deliver a high quality service. So clean up the finance, make sure you're profitable, and high stand quality. So then you give value to your service.
Yeah, those are Really great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Who would like to add a tip now? Laura.
I would like to go next. So I just kind of want to build on something she said. I mean, definitely the thing that we've been doing to prepare in addition to saving money is just raising our prices, because ultimately we want people who are paying our higher rates on our schedule, so that if wages need to go up, because that's the thing that I see the most changing in the economy right now is wages, at least in my area. So that way we have those more clients. But I wanted to add on to what she said about 2008, 2009. I grew through that as well. And also in the last 6 months, since we've been kind of going, in a direction that people don't like, I guess, with the economy, I've added $1 million to my run rate in 6 months. We have been growing like crazy right now. And my theory on this is that when people get worried financially, more people who had previously been staying home go back to work. And so you don't have the stay-at-home mom to clean the house anymore, maybe. But I really believe that economic downturns are good for cleaning services. So I just wanted to throw that out there. 2008, 2009 was great for me. And so far, I mean, we had one of our biggest months in years last month. So
great. Congratulations. And thank you for both of you for sharing that hope with our audience today, because I think a lot of people, especially if they haven't been through a recession before, they assume that it means downturn for their business too. And it doesn't need to be that way. I think because both of you had the right mindset and you just charged ahead, taking advantage of the opportunities that were ahead of you and using your strengths to grow your business. That's what it's all about. Your business does not need to go backward during this time. This is a great time to refine and build, right? So good. Thank you. All right. Who would like to go next? How about you, Susan?
Kind of the same thing that Laura and Vanessa were saying. We were more profitable during the pandemic than we were before. And it was because right when that hit, we wanted to make sure the customers that stayed with us were going to be the ones that we could count on. So I wanted to kind of weed out the ones that wouldn't be able to stay with us sooner than later. So that meant, raising our rates all across the board, even for established customers. We just had to, because we had to make a decision on that. And because of that, and again, like Vanessa was saying, if, the people who have that, they're going to keep having that money. Those are the ones that you want for that core. That's the ones that we want. It can be really hard. Customers coming and going. You can't have a predictable income, and that can really affect your workforce as well if you don't have work for them. So we increased our prices, we increased our training, we increased our wages, and that's helped us really well. And we continue to focus on that. That's been our focus for 2 to 3 years now, and we're continuing that way as well.
Yeah, that's great. And that is going aggressively forward. And I think that a lot of people, when something like this happens and they haven't experienced it before, they just freeze. And they think, well, I have to hold on to every client I have, so I can't raise their prices. And it's backwards thinking, and all of you shared like that very forward thinking thing. And a lot of people who are in the cleaning business are in that $300,000 to $500,000 range. And they just can't imagine going backwards because they work so hard to get there. And they want to be where all of you are now. And this is how you do it, right? You charge forward. How about you, RJ?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything the ladies said. Creating value at the end of the day. And the value starts from when the phone rings, how you answer it, how you take care of people, and then how do you clean for them? So it goes back to the original question about training. And what we're focusing on right now is creating efficiencies. So as we revisit our costs, also, if we create the efficiencies, it's in itself going to reduce that cost, but create more value for the client. And at the end of the day, that's the best thing we can do.
For sure. Yeah, that is so helpful. It helps people to hear that everyone, and RJ, you went through the last recession also, correct?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. And what was that like? Share your experience. I think it's helpful for people to hear that people not only survive, but they double in size and they grow and they thrive in periods of downturn.
To be totally transparent, in 2008 January, I had just completed building a 18,000 square foot shopping center, and I had two leases that decided they were going to back out, and so my shopping center sat empty for a while, except my office, and it was tough. Weathering that storm was tough. So my point is that distracted me from my business a little bit. We didn't grow as much, but we grew, I believe, around 22%, which is not bad. I believe if I had that full focus, we could have grown even more, because my shopping center really, really distracted me.
Yeah, well, I can see that, but solid. 22% is solid, during a time of concern like that. So that's good. Got to give people hope. That's because we all know that we can grow and thrive during this. And it's just, we're here to help everybody do it. So,
but, I would like to say, a recession is a individual family decision about whether they can afford, housekeeping, landscaping, things of that nature. That's some things that they can do themselves. But when it comes to COVID, my opinion is, if you survive COVID, when people weren't willing to let you come to their homes because the kids were home, the husband was home, the lady was home working, everybody was working from home. And if you came in, they almost treated you like a disease. So they said, no cleaning. If you survive COVID, you can survive anything.
Very good. Very true. Right. For sure. No, I think that's a great point. So how about you, Tom? What's something that you're doing right now to prepare your cleaning business?
For us, a lot of it's, in the numbers, showing the number of years I've been around doing this. We would get together at convention, back 15 years ago. The discussion was always about how many homes you guys clean a month. That was like how we measured success. And it quickly got to, well, what's your revenue? How much revenue do you guys do a year? And it's kind of, what the title of this group. But this group is successful because they're worried about or managing things beyond the number of homes they're cleaning or what their top line revenue is. It's really about how much money you're making off of the homes that you're cleaning. And, we've been in what they call a supply constrained market for a while. I mean, even before there were signs that, the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates and basically make the economy slow down, it was very hard to hire people. And this whole inflation thing, this is unprecedented. There's not anybody watching, this show that's ever managed a business with any meaningful amount of inflation, but it's consistently been 8-9% over the last few months, and maybe it's peaking, but it's not going to get down to the 2% and below range of anything that we're used to managing in for a long time. So you've got a tight labor market, you've got prices going up all over the place, and the concern that consumers are gonna stop spending as much. So the name of the game now is, how do you make as much money as you can make off the homes that you're cleaning? And, we look at every recurring house that we have and look at the revenue per hour. And, you can look at your average, and that can be deceiving. Your average can be awesome, but, you probably have a third or more of the homes that you're cleaning that are really underpriced, and you might not be aware of it if you aren't measuring that. And those are the ones that we really go after for rate adjustments. And we've got calculators that we use in Maze Central that can kind of show you that if you raise your bill rate by X amount, you can afford to lose Y number of homes and still make this much more money. So we're not really concerned about losing homes as long as we know what the ratios are, and it gives us the ability to do increases higher than what you might have the courage to do in years past. And you need to do that because you have to pay so much more for labor. If you go back and look at what you're paying per hour now to like pre-COVID, I don't know anybody out there that's not paying at least 50% more now than they did pre-COVID.
Right.
So we have to be charging a lot more. That's part of it. And every recession, at least from my perspective, has been different, and it reacts different in different parts of the country. And you have recessions for different reasons. I've been doing this since the mid '90s, and been through several recessions, and .com bust and 9/11 and all of that. Didn't really miss a lick. 2008 for us was a little bit different. A lot of the revenue we generated were in communities that people were really spending more money than they had, and the reason that they were hiring us on a weekly basis to clean their home was they could go to the bank and refinance their house every year and pay off their credit card and basically reload and go another year. So when the housing market crashed and there was no home refinancing, we lost a lot of business. Just it felt like overnight. We pivoted. We started doing more what we call residential work, using the same workforce, the same equipment, the same working hours, and we got accounts with like military base housing. We got accounts with senior living facilities. We got accounts with property management groups. We still do a fair amount of that. We do. Most of our revenue still comes from residential cleaning, but we like the diversity there. So if the economy does take a hit and if consumers stop spending money, I've got other business relationships that basically hire residential cleaners that really are more recession proof. Those clients are going to use our services regardless of what the consumer is doing.
Yeah. Well, that is a great pivot. And I like how you called it residential. That's a great idea. And, a lot of people did that during the pandemic, started cleaning offices and created another vertical that maybe stuck with them after the pandemic was over with. But yeah, that's great. It shares a lot of hope with the people who are listening that all of these people, if we can be successful through this, they can too, right? You are special, right? But we're all just business owners, and it's just how you apply yourself and leaning into the residential cleaning community, learning everything that you can right now to strengthen your business is great. And doing that all year long is good too. So thank you everybody for that. And before we do anything else, could everybody go around and just tell us why you're going to the ISSA show? We've got a campaign going called I'm Going, right? So can you tell us why you're going to ISSA? How about you, Vanessa?
So I'm going. I would say every time I go, I learn something. And for me, it's like if I get out there learning 5 new things, it's still worth it. And beside that, it's a great place for networking. You can make friends that is still with you and help you. And it's so nice to have someone to talk, to understand you, to understand what you're going through. It's like a mom's group when you have a baby.
Right. We get you, right?
Yeah.
We get you. We all
embrace you. And it becomes like it's a big family. Everybody is embracing and it's very welcoming. This is to be my 5th year, I think. It took me a while to start it, but then since I started, I didn't stop.
That's awesome. That's great. Thanks. How about you, Susan?
Well, like Vanessa, every time I go, I learn something. Every time I have gone, I have not only made back all of the money that I spent on airfare, the hotel, I have made that back like 100-fold during the year. So that's always really nice as well. You get so many tips, so many different ideas from other owners and speakers that you had no idea about that will save you time, make you money, and you make friends. I had lunch with Vanessa a couple months ago. I met Tamara, my best friend, at the convention in 2016. And if I had known about ARCSI the year that I started, I would be even way further ahead now, because there's so much I could have learned right from the beginning. I could have saved myself so much heartache, so many pitfalls, so much wasted time. I wish I had known about it then.
Right. Yeah. Lean into the community. It's fun, and you don't have to go it alone. I think,
I'm gonna add something what I should say, because it's like, even though I was so long on the industry and I felt like I knew everything, I wouldn't say everything, but I knew a lot, felt so alone. And suddenly I found people that had the same pain of mine and willing to share solutions. Was very, that for me was
Great.
changing point.
Yeah, that's so great. How about you, RJ?
I am going because Vanessa promised me dinner. That's about it.
You're lucky. Nice.
We always have dinner. Come on.
Yes, we will. But the real promise, or the real reason, is, to sum it up, for the past 5 months, I was literally misdiagnosed from a health standpoint. They did some surgery. I didn't need it, and I was in recovery. And during that time, I was moving my offices. And Gosha, Paul from New Hampshire, and Oscar and his brother came to help me move. Oh. They didn't let me lift a single thing. Now, they're all ARCSI people that I just mentioned. Where am I going to find that? Yeah. I mean, the value of ARCSI is way beyond what I could imagine. It's a sense of belonging. It's a sense of friendship. It's a sense of unity. And I love the people of ARCSI.
That's great. And then you and Aja are hosting a regional event there as well, correct?
We're hosting it at Gosha's new office.
At Gosha's new office. I'm sorry.
In Chicago. Yep.
Gosha. Sorry. I got that mixed up. But yeah, Gosha's new office. That's exciting. Yep. And I think that is a limited space available. So if you're registering and you want to get involved with that, that would be a great event to go to meet some people and have some time to get to know others. So that's
how do we register for that, RJ? That's like before the convention. That's on a Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Sunday late afternoon, because most people will come in. If you're going to come in later Sunday, come in a little bit early. Come join us. This is a brand new office that she just recently purchased, going through renovations right now. And it's going to be Liz, myself, and Gosha presenting People, Process, and Profits.
I'm looking at the website, and I'll drop a link for that too, because we really haven't talked about it. This is the regional event. It's the 9th from 1 to 6. Register here. I'll drop the link. It's into chat. If I can find
That's great. Yeah, this is we're trying to do more and more regional events with our ARCSI community. Something I didn't mention earlier is that I am the current chair of the ISSA Residential Cleaning Council, or ARCSI. And so I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people there. And that's why I'm going. I really want to hear what's happening in other people's businesses and how ARCSI can help people grow their businesses. What are people looking for? What do they need to support them right now? We're trying to do as many things as we can to help our members and to grow our membership, and to provide more benefits that are going to help people be more profitable, systemize their business, those kinds of things. So I hope that I get to meet a lot of people who are watching today, and of course, looking forward to seeing everybody in person. So Laura, can you tell us why you're going?
Yes, I am so excited to go this year because I have not been to a convention since 2018. And before that, I had never missed one. I loved convention. It was my favorite time of the year. I get all of my best ideas from other cleaning service owners. You can't beat the networking. And all of my best friends own cleaning businesses at this point. So it's like a big family reunion, you know? But I was actually, my daughter got diagnosed with cancer like 4 days or something before ISSA in 2019. And I haven't been anywhere since, and I haven't seen my people in so long. So I am so excited to come network and get some fresh ideas and make some new friends. Can't wait.
That's so great. And I'm excited that you're presenting too. Really excited to see that. And we're so happy to hear that Juno's doing better. So thank you so much for doing that. Well, thank you, everybody. There was some amazing sharing today. I'm going to go back and rewatch this and take notes. That was great. Well, I'll hand it back to you, Tom. Thank you so much for
Sure.
having all of us.
Sure. Thank you for sharing a preview of the $1 Million Panel. This is really a cool format. I'm looking forward to that. And for the event that we're going to be doing in Chicago, the audience, I guess, kind of real time will be able to ask their questions.
Yes, there will be open Q&A. Right.
Okay.
And then, of course, the panels after, or the roundtables after. So most of our panelists will probably still be there, and they can talk then too.
So we don't necessarily have to shut it down after an hour in Chicago. We're just
well, we do, because we will be moving to another room, but yeah.
That's okay. We'll still be together.
Yes, we'll still be together. Yes.
Because that's one of the cool things about, convention. I've been going for a long time, and you get to see old friends, and it's fun. You get to party a little bit. You make new friends. You always learn useful stuff, and just being able to put all that together in context and sharing in a brainstorming type way with like-minded people, you get insights on things that you wouldn't see in your business if you were like in your business doing what you normally do day in and day out. And that's worth as much as anything else. Is like when you're on the flight back home thinking about, a couple of things that were revelations that you're able to figure out about your business and action plans that you needed to do, that even if you were reading a book or watching a webinar about the same thing, it wouldn't have had the same impact, because you're still like halfway into that and halfway into running your business every day. Getting away from your business for a few days allows you to see things that you just won't be able to see if you're in the middle of your business. And again, if you've been there, it's like none of us, have any financial stake in this. We're trying to be helpful. If you've been, you know what we're talking about. But if you haven't been, I really encourage you to experience this just one time. And after you do, you'll know. What is it? How's that go? If you know, you know.
If you know, right. Well, and a lot of people, I love what you said about you have to get out of your business sometimes to just see it. You have to see it from the outside. And a lot of people will say, well, I can't afford to take time away from my business. I can't afford to do this or that. But I believe people can't afford not to participate in the ARCSI community, because we need community to just strengthen our industry as a whole. And we can't do it alone. And I think that getting to be around people like the people here on this call today, it's a shortcut to success. I just learned from a bunch of people who have been working in this industry for a very long time. So I'm learning things that I wouldn't have known, that would have taken me years to figure out by myself, right? And I'm sure all of you have had that experience when you talk to someone wise, like the one that Tom was talking about, Jim, who we learned so much from. Being around people like that, it's a shortcut to success.
Jeannie, I know what it's like to feel like I can't afford to get away, but if you think about it, none of us, got into this industry, started our business, bought a business, however we got here, with the idea of I can't afford to get away for 3 days. I mean, if we knew that was part of the deal, we probably wouldn't have signed up for it. We had other visions, other aspirations. Okay. And if you're in that position, if you want to fix it, you got to step out and do something different. And it's through, networking and participating in an event like this is, and oftentimes a big step towards accelerating your growth and getting to where you wanted to be when you started the journey.
Exactly. We get pulled into our business and think that it needs us all of the time. And a lot of times it does our business good to step away from it as well. So, well, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Tom, for hosting us today. This was a great panel, and I can't wait to do it live at ISSA Show in North America. It's going to be great.
I'm going to drop the link again in chat, and I'm going to take the early bird special.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tom.
And I'm going to drop that as well.
So if you joined us late, because you're here and watching this panel today, we are giving you special access to the early bird special that's already closed for ISSA North America show this year. But we're giving you access to that special price because you're here. So lucky you stuck around, and you get to have this early bird code. So copy that code. The registration link is there, and be sure to sign up for the all access pass so that you can join us at the $1 Million panel on the first day of the ISSA show.
Well, I just dropped the link, and the early bird secret code is $179 space ARCC early, all one word. Looks like we lost Laura. I was going to.
I'm having some connection issues.
It was awesome having Laura here. RJ, as always, thank you for you're a regular on Smart Business Moves. You've guest hosted for Smart Business Moves. You were like guest host back when we were doing this every day, right?
Yes. Thank you for that.
And much appreciated. Vanessa, good seeing you. Look forward to seeing you in a little over a month in Chicago. Susan, thank you. Jeannie, you're awesome. I tell you what are you doing next Wednesday at 5 o'clock? I need to take some time.
Yeah, if you ever need a day off, I'm happy to give you a little help. I'm here to help.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I guess that pretty much does it for us today. We'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern time. Till then, you guys have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.